When we see animals doing remarkable things, how do we know if we're simply seeing tricks or signs of real intelligence? Are talented animals just obeying commands, or do they have some kind of a deeper understanding? One of the biggest challenges for animal researchers is to come up with tests that can distinguish between the two. Correspondent Doug Hamilton traveled to a Caribbean cove to find out if some of our favorite performers are merely good at taking direction, or if they're smart enough to put on a show all their own.
This is not your typical science lab. It's a beautiful scuba diving resort called Anthony's Key. I've come here to meet the 24 Caribbean bottlenose dolphins that are in residence. Think of this as a really pretty school for dolphins. Terry Bolton is their head trainer. She shows me the ropes.
Finger up first.
Finger up first.
And the way to a dolphin's heart.
You reach into the bucket and very gently drop it into his mouth. Down the hatch.
They got a lot of teeth in there.
They do.
Terry's trained the dolphins to do some pretty impressive things. And they seem more than happy to show off for me.
Are you ready? Yeah, we're ready. You sure? No. Come on, boy. They are amazing animals. They're very curious. They're very bright. So what we try to do as trainers is teach them the love of learning. Turn and go. We start every training session off on a high, and we want to leave it on a high. We're all about positive reinforcement. They love to be correct. Doesn't everyone? I just love it.
You cheer them on like you're playing with a dog. Is that what you're doing? Is that you're just encouraging that behavior?
Hey, that was better. I think we cheer them on like they're our kids. And you can see how they respond to that. You can see the brightness in their eyes. You can hear it in their vocalizations. They respond to that joy.
Terry says that one of the best ways to experience the dolphins' world is to just dive right in. Right into their world.
Dolphins are so well adapted to life in the sea. Their brains have evolved to a higher level where they can play and create and problem solve.
A big challenge in figuring out how smart dolphins are is that their world is just so different from ours. Their brain even has powers ours does not. To prove this point, Terry asked me to bury a ring underwater outside of the dolphin's enclosure. Without being able to see the ring, Terry or any other human would have a very hard time finding it.
Mission accomplished. They'll never find it.
So she sends in Paya, the oldest male dolphin. They give him the command to find the ring. The audio on our underwater camera picks up Paya making a clicking sound.
He's really searching hard for it.
But this is more than just a noise. Dolphins can detect their sound bouncing back to them to sense their surroundings. Paya uses echolocation, like sonar, to track down the ring.
He outsmarted me.
Good!
The dolphin brain is large. In fact, relative to body size, it is the second largest only to humans, and is one indicator of their potential brain power. Terry puts those brains to the test with an activity we humans clearly associate with intelligence: reading. Can dolphins understand a command by reading a symbol? Looks like they can. Watching these dolphins, it seems perfectly clear to me that they're really smart. But what do the scientists think?
Are dolphins really intelligent? Yes, I definitely believe that that's the case. But in fact, I think we've just scratched the surface about what dolphins are really capable of.
Stan Kuchai runs the Marine Mammal Behavior and Cognition Laboratory at the University of Southern Mississippi and is working to analyze and prove just how smart dolphins are.
Put your finger back up.
Finger up.
Sway.
We've been watching these animals do amazing things. But how do you know if they're doing something that's really just a rote learned behavior versus doing something that actually shows how smart they are?
That's a really good question. Dolphins learn to do a flip on command, and they learn to associate a trainer's signal with that behavior.
Yay! Good job!
But a more flexible problem solving is when they can actually be a little bit more creative. That shows intelligence much more so than the rote learning does.
To see if dolphins could handle more than just rote learning, Kuchai devised an experiment a few years ago to test a dolphin's ability not just to follow directions, but to think things through and plan ahead.
Planning is a real hallmark of intelligence.
The dolphins were trained to pick up a weight and to put that weight in a box. They learned that if they put enough weights in, a fish would come out the bottom. The dolphins quickly figured out that they could get the fish faster with a lot less work by gathering up multiple weights in one trip.
If you can plan, you can decide what course of action to take without actually having to try it first. That enables you to avoid a lot of risky situations and to be much more adaptable.
Dolphins are social animals. They travel in groups. So can they plan together?
I've seen dolphins in the wild, and all of a sudden, all the dolphins get together and do a deep dive together. Obviously, somebody's coordinated that behavior.
How do they do that? Are they actually communicating? It would help if we could just ask them.
What are you saying?
Now, they make different sounds.
Yeah, French is yes, he's very vocal.
Show me the difference between a click and a whistle.
Here's his whistle. And these are his clicks.
Scientists think these clicks and whistles could be the building blocks of a language. But no one has yet figured out how to translate them.
Yeah, you have a lot to talk about, don't you, mister?
Stan and Terry have devised an amazing two-step experiment. It's designed to test whether dolphins are just trained performers, or can they plan and come up with tricks of their own?
Ronnie and Bill forward, Richie and Paya from shallow to way back.
First, the dolphins are asked to learn a concept, to create a trick of their own, not just a rote behavior. Now, Stan and Terry are upping the ante. They want to see if their two-star dolphins, Ronnie and Bill, can create something together. This means the dolphins are going to have to think, plan, and hopefully communicate.
So you're building them up now to the big
Right.
moment.
Okay, we're gonna do create this time. Ready? Fingers up. Together. Create.
Underwater, Stan gets the dolphins' view of things. His camera is also recording any sounds the dolphins make. Sure enough, he hears their signature whistle.
Go, go, go! Did you see that? They went on their backs and they lifted their tails.
That's really cool.
That's monumental. They've never done that before.
It appears that these dolphins can do a lot more than just rote learning.
It's really impressive because the animals have to understand the concept of do something different, and they have to be able to keep track of what they've done.
Do we know of other species of animals that can do this?
As far as I know, other than humans, dolphins are the only ones that can do this.
The big question now is, can this experiment help crack the dolphins' code?
We know they produce lots of sounds. What is a whistle? A word? Is it a sentence? Is it a paragraph? Does it express an emotion?
You're looking, in a sense, for the Rosetta Stone of dolphin communication.
Yes. It would be really nice to find that. So if you're diving and you find that, please bring it up.